Hey everyone, welcome again to Students at First Online. My name is Trevor Backhoffner. I'm the Students and Families Pastor here at First Christian Church, and I'm so glad you're joining us for week 2 of our series on the Shema, the greatest commandment. Last week we looked at the Old Testament context of the Shema, studying Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 4 through 9, as Moses relays this important command to the people of Israel. They were declaring the word of the law, and he gives this important commandment to them by saying, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Following this, he gives them a few helpful practices on where and when would be good times to remind themselves of this truth and this command, whether it was in their homes, whether it was telling it to their kids, having it around their doorways, put on their foreheads. All of these places were to remind them of the love that they had for God, because it was that love that they had for him that was to be the motivator for their life. And as we turn this week and finalize this series, we're looking at the New Testament context, because there's a teacher of the law who asks Jesus a question in Mark chapter 12. So let's get into our text here and unpack how Jesus answers him. One of the scribes approached. When he heard them debating and saw that Jesus answered them well, he asked him, "What command is the most important of all?" Jesus answered, "The most important is, 'Listen, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is love your neighbor as yourself. There's no command greater than these." Then the scribe said to him, "You're right, teacher. You have correctly said that he is one, and there is no one else except him. And to love him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is far more important than all the burnt offerings and sacrifices." So we see here is that this teacher of the law, he's searching. He sees that Jesus is confident in his answers, that he answers things correctly, and he wants to ask a question that's been on his mind. So he says, what's the most important question, commandment of all? And Jesus answers him pretty honestly. He's like, here it is. He's quoting the Old Testament. He's living as a good Jewish man, because that's what he was. And he quotes the Shema. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. He's the only one worthy of our praise. And here's how we do that we love him with everything within us. Jesus adds, loving with your heart, soul, and strength, but also your mind, where you learn about God. You try to understand God on a deep level. And out of that love that you have for God, that's that main motivator that we talked about last week, Jesus highlights that it also translates into loving your neighbor just as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. So this guy immediately, the teacher of the law, immediately gets it. He's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. I understand now. Everything that we do has to be motivated by love. Even the things that we do in loving God and with everything within us, in our understanding, in our heart, and our soul, and in our strength, and taking that and translating it into loving our neighbor, all of that's more important than any of the rituals that we're supposed to do, because the law tells us. And he's on to something here. And later on in that verse, in the verses following, Jesus says, you're not far from the kingdom of God, because that is the motivator and the most important part of the covenant we have with Jesus, is that it is founded in love. Sacrificial love. We understand that for us to do anything to follow Jesus and to be like Jesus, we have to have deep, deep love for him and for others. That is the New Testament context of the Shema. That is what we find is our great motivator for us as followers of Jesus, and one of the reasons why reading this is such a deep spiritual thing for us. So tune in next week. We're going to be trying to get together for a Christmas party, have some good times together, and we'll see you guys next week.